Guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. In today's video, we've got an absolute banger for you guys. What we're going to actually be doing is jumping straight into my computer and breaking down exactly how you go about setting up your Lemlist account, setting up campaigns, setting up your custom tracking domain, everything you need to know about Lemlist from complete beginner to expert with Lemlist, all in this one video. So just before I get into this video, guys, if you guys are interested in agency transmutation, the spots are still available for the beta program. I teach you how to do cold emails, all that sort of stuff, writing scripts, cold emails, Upwork, that sort of stuff, and using a hybrid system to stack smaller ticket clients in order to land higher ticket clients on autopilot using first line writers, virtual assistants, email writers, that sort of things to actually automate this for you. So all of this sort of stuff goes into way more detail in agency transmutation. So if you want to learn more about that, guys, all you have to do is click the link below and it will take you to a completely free video breaking down all the modules and what you can expect from agency transmutation. So with that being said, guys, what we're going to be doing is jumping straight into my computer, breaking down what Lemlist is. Now, if you guys don't actually know what Lemlist is real quick, Lemlist is an automation, kind of like email automation tool that allows you to send out mass emails at scale, but it also allows you to, I guess, automate your follow-ups as well. It gives you a real good metrics. It gives you real good metrics on like your, actual metrics such as your open rate, response rate, or reply rate if you want to. And it's a really good tool to use if you're getting into cold emails and stuff like that. Like the best tool I've actually found, by the way. I don't have an affiliate link for this. This is just literally my recommendation. I've been using Lemlist now for absolute years. I've been on Lemlist for so long, in fact, that I still have the original plan with Lemlist. It was like $30 or something like that. Right now it's actually I believe it's $59 per month. So if you're wondering how much it is, it's $59 per month. So at the time of recording this, it's $59 per month, but you can get a 14-day free trial. So again, Lemlist allows you to basically send out hundreds of emails a day, for example. Don't get carried away with this. I'm going to show you some of the mistakes that people make with Lemlist as well. But without any further ado, let's jump straight into this. So guys, now that we're actually in my computer, all you're going to want to do is go to app.lemlist.com/create an account. And as you can see, there's a 14-day free trial that you can get with Lemlist right now at the time of recording this. Again, I'm not affiliated with Lemlist at all. Nor do I have an affiliate link. I really just love, Lemlist, and that's how I've been able to get my, e-commerce clients through cold emails and stuff like that. I really love, Lemlist, especially its functionality in terms of its follow-ups, being able to automatically follow up to people that don't reply to your previous emails, that sort of stuff. And you can set like times in between. So if you send a initial email out, for example, and somebody doesn't reply to you in, let's say, 3 days, then you can actually follow up with them, automatically sending out a different email, for example. That's why I really love Lemlist, because it keeps you organized and it keeps your follow-up game strong, if you will. And as they say, the money is in the follow-up. So just before I get into this, as you can see, I'm using a Gmail account here to sign up. I don't recommend signing up with a Gmail account. Well, technically you can sign up to Lemlist with a Gmail account, but what I mean by that is don't send emails from a Gmail account. Just real quick, as you can see, I've got this little sheet here for you. We're going to go into some email scripts and whatnot, but just real quick, when you're actually sending emails out, right, you do not want to use a @gmail.com domain for your actual sending of the emails. The reason being is because it's super unprofessional. What you want to do is use a email, for example, such as like montel@domain.com. So you actually want a professional domain and you buy these from Google. Now, you need to buy 2 of these. Everybody asks me, Montel, why on earth do I need to buy 2 of these? Well, let me give you an example. If you have an agency website right now, and your agency website, for example, like mine is mcg-agency.co. I do not use the email address montel@mcg-agency.co for my cold emails. I use this email internally for my actual existing clients. The reason for that is because your email is the email that you're going to be sending out cold emails on is what you call your burner email, your burner domain. Your burner domain is something that is going to get burnt over time, as in the reputation of that domain is going to dwindle over time. That's just the aim of the game. Even if we have Lemlist on, Lemwarm on, which is one of Lemlist's features. What you want to do instead is, instead of burning out your main website domain and then having to change your domain after it gets burned, listen to my warning. Use a different domain that's very similar to your main domain and have this redirected. So whenever somebody types this in, for example, it will redirect to your website anyway. So again, if your domain on your website is something like this, let's say it's just abcmedia.com. Let's say that your actual website is abcmedia.com. what you'd want to get is abcmedia.net instead. So that's what you mean. That's what I mean by getting a second domain. And then what you would do is you use the abcmedia.net version as your cold emails. Then once you've actually set up that email, you want to make sure that you actually set up your SPF records. If you buy your domain, by the way, from Google, which I recommend you do, you don't have to set up an SPF record. It's already done. You just need to set up a DMARC record and a DKIM record. I will have tutorials coming out on this. These are already taught in agency transmutation as well. So make sure that you have your record set up, because that's going to increase your deliverability. You also, before you even send a single email from Lemlist, you need to make sure that you set up your custom tracking domain with Lemlist. Let me quickly show you what I mean. Go to this link right here, and it's how to set up your custom tracking domain. You need to actually set this up before you send a single email. I'll show you where you do this in a second on Lemlist, but you need to do this. Anywho, coming back to Lemlist, all you need to do is sign up. As you can see, this is obviously demonstration purposes. I'm just using some, really weird credentials. I might not get accepted, so hopefully it's going to click on I am not a robot, accept these two things, and we should be able to just jump straight in. Here we go. Now all it's going to do is basically just ask you a couple of questions. I'll probably skip this bit for you guys and just quickly run through it. So guys, as you can see, what you can do here is, if you're complete newbie, you can actually click on this and it will actually help you with your onboarding. I'm just going to click on this because I'm going to show you this anyway. And obviously if you're not handling campaigns, you can do that. I don't recommend doing that though. I recommend clicking one of these two. I've never really clicked on this one, to be honest with you. I'm just going to click this one though. But again, if you're completely new, you can actually just click on this and it will actually take you to some onboarding tutorials and whatnot and training, but you don't need to do that. So this is the actual first main page that you actually get brought to once you actually create your account. Now I do recommend watching all of these videos here and saving yourself time and headache and breaking this down, because this is a very good onboarding process that Lemlist themselves and the actual sender or creator, should I say, of Lemlist is actually created for you guys. Now in terms of your domain, what you want to do to set up your domain is you want to go in here. Now your login domain, this one right here, this is not a domain, by the way, this is just a Gmail, but what I mean by this is your login details are going to be different from your sender's email. So email provider, here's how you basically set that up. What you do is you go to G Suite like so, and then what you do is you click on your actual domain. This should be your burner domain, your actual, and again, this is not a email you send emails from. I know that a lot of people are going to be confused by this. You do not send emails from a Gmail account. I'm just creating this for a tutorial. I'm not going to go and buy a domain. Well, I probably could have, but yeah, what you would do is you would actually go and create a burner domain based upon your real domain. So if you have an agency website right now, abcmedia.com, you would use abcmedia.net. So .net would be here. Then what you do is click on this and you have to click on allow. And what this will do is basically set your sender email up correctly. Now, what that will do is it takes a few minutes or a few seconds, should I say, to actually do this. But what you do is you can refresh your alias, and as you can see, it says it loves your new alias, and this is all linked in now. So at this point, guys, you've now set up your actual domain, and what you can do is set up your tracking custom domain in here. Go to user section, and what you do is you set up your tracking domain. Again, I'm not going to walk you through this because they've got a beautiful tutorial here. As you can see, it's the exact same thing that I'm showing you guys, but you need to follow this entire thing to actually set up your custom tracking domain. If you do not do this, you're going to be using, I believe it's Lemlist's own kind of like I think it's like their own domain servers type of thing. You don't want to do that because it's going to actually kill your email reputation. This is something that happened to me, and you do not want to do that. Now, what you want to do is also set up your signature. Now, when it comes to signatures, what I recommend you do is have a signature that looks something like this, where you got your first name, agency name, the actual address, phone number, and then your email domain. You don't want any website links in any of this. Now, the reason for that is because it actually decreases your deliverability. It decreases that. As in, if you start trying to drive traffic on the very first initial email to like a case study funnel or something like that, or some sort of like Loom video, having links in your emails actually kills your deliverability, and obviously, because it kills your deliverability, your open rate is gonna be decreased. So I'm gonna copy this real quick, and you want to set this in. Now, what you shouldn't have, right? Just real quick, let's actually format this. So there we go. We've got that nice and formatted. You can click on save. You've got your signature all set up now. So we can actually use this little merge tag here for our signature. So that's how you basically create your signature. Obviously, you can go through here, go into the users, go on all this sort of stuff. What I recommend you do though is go to your limits. Now, for your limits, guys, what I recommend you do is set this to around 25 to 40 at the absolute absolute max because you're on a brand new domain. If you're on a brand new domain, as you can see, it's not letting me change the actual limits right now because I don't have a paid plan. So you actually have you have to have a paid plan for this. But I keep seeing people asking me like, why does my email domain, burn out really quickly and I have to buy a new one and warm it all up again, which I'll be getting into in a second. What you do here, guys, is you actually need to set your global limit. This is the amount of emails that Lemlist will send on your behalf in a 24-hour period. I don't recommend going above what's humanly natural. Even with a fully warm domain, I do not send more than 75 emails a day. I feel like Google is too smart to know when you're just using automation tools, as in they will actually know that like 75 emails a day is damn near impossible for you to be sending, especially to new prospects, to the people that you've never spoken to before. So they'll easily catch on. So I keep mine at around 50 to 75 emails a day. 75 is actually the upper limit once you've got a warm email. I know that people come on here and say, well, I bought a Gmail account and a G Suite account and I've got a proper domain so I can send 200 emails a day. They then go and try to send 200 emails a day. It lasts for about 2 weeks. Then they have to go and buy another one. Then I'm like, yeah, I tried telling you, but you just didn't listen. I kind of laugh at them and whatnot. So you can also test your email health here. But what we want to do is when you first get Lemlist, set up all your custom tracking domains, that sort of stuff, and you want to turn on Lemwarm. Now, Lemwarm is only available for a paid plan, but what you want to do is you want to set up Lemwarm. Now, let me give you an example as to what Lemwarm is, and you need to do this before you actually start sending emails. As you can see, I recommend using Lemwarm for about a week before sending more than 20 emails a day. So what Lemwarm is basically like a warm feature. What this basically does is it takes your brand new domain that's completely, brand new. You probably just bought this. As you can see, this email was created an hour ago. You'll see if you got a new burner domain, it will tell you how long ago your domain was actually created. So what you want to do is with your new domains, if you've already got a warm domain, then you don't need to do this. But if you've got a new domain, guys, what you want to do is make sure that your domain is warm. And what I mean by that is Lemwarm is a, tool that's built into Lemlist that allows you to basically send emails to other people that are using Lemwarm, which are, there's thousands of people, probably like millions of people at this particular point. I'm not too sure how big the software is, but I'm pretty sure it's very, very big at this point. So what this tool allows you to do is automatically, and the tool does it itself, it automatically sends messages and replies to other people's, or should I say it's emails, it automatically sends emails to people and it replies to certain people, other people that are using, Lemwarm. They call them Lemwarmers, if you will. So what it does is it automatically creates like an engagement group almost, where it's like you're communicating with other people using Lemwarm, and what it does is it automatically generates like a message that kind of tricks the algorithm, Google's algorithm, to kind of create a message that looks legit, if you will, and it looks like you're having legit conversations with real people. And what that does is it allows you to build up your email reputation very, very quickly, automatedly, and without you even lifting a finger, basically. And what you can do is you can choose the amount of emails that you actually want it to increase by a day. So for example, if you start off at 2 emails a day and then you want to ramp it up by like another 2 emails a day. So the first day it will send 2 emails. The next day it will send 4 emails. The day after that it will send 6 emails. The day after that it will send 8. The day after that it will send 10. So as you can see, I actually recommend sending 2 emails to 2 to 3, ramping this up to 2 to 3 emails a day. And once the actual number, I actually set this to 20, by the way. I set this to number of emails per day after ramp up, so it will go to a maximum of 20 emails a day. The max is actually 40. I set it to around 20 to 30, preferably around 25. And what I do, guys, is, and this is a common question I get, is once Lemwarm's actually turned on, I do not ever turn it off. And by the way, it will obviously stop at 25 once it's ramped up. It will take a couple of days to ramp up to 25, but once it's ramped up to 25, I do not turn Lemwarm off, because you're going to be sending a lot of cold emails and you need replies back. And a lot of people aren't going to reply. That's just the name of the of cold emails anyway. Like 12%, 15% reply rate, those are good. 20% reply rate, those are classed as good. 30% reply rate is classed as like excellent and stuff like that. So you're not going to get that many replies back. So you need Lemwarm turned on to get replies back from people who are using Lemwarm to keep your email warm. So let me actually go and show you just real quick how to set up a campaign. As you can see at the bottom, we've got this annoying, verification thing. You need to obviously go and do that. I'm just going to quickly show you how to set up your first campaign and the way how I go about it. So what you do is you click at the bottom here. I'm not sure if you saw that, but basically all you do is you can click the letter N on your keyboard. And then what you do is you just type in your campaign name. Now I recommend naming your campaign name something that means something to you. So for me, I like to test little names like I like to use little names like this whenever I'm testing. So 1.1.1.1. That sounds like gibberish to you, but this actually means something to me. So I'll show you how I kind of do my naming schemes. 1 basically means this is email subject line 1. So we're going to be testing subject lines, for example. Then this means it's the case study we're using. The differentiating line is number 1. The actual case study, we're going to be using case study 1. So let's say you have multiple different case studies. This would be the number that you would change. And then the last call to act, this would be the call to action. So if we wanted to use email subject line 1, the differentiating line 1, but we wanted to try the second case study. So let's say we have 2 different case studies that we can try. One case study is we scaled the business from 0 to 50K per month using Facebook ads or something like that. That would be case study 1. Let's say case study 2 is we helped a different business go from making 20K per month to 200K per month. That would be case study 2. So instead of putting 1 here, you'd put 2 here. So that's kind of like a kind of cool little insider kind of like way to how I like to split test. And then obviously this last one would be the way how you set out your call to action. So call to action 1 could be something, and then you could have another call to action, and that's how you would change it. So 1.1.1 would be subject line 1, differentiating line 1, case study 1, call to action 1. So, and this is how you basically go about, making sure that you've got your actual split test scientific. Like, that's how I like to split test. Everything's very scientific, very organized. Now what we can do is upload. It's going to ask us, once we create a campaign name, we can give it a little emoji. It's not really important. I don't know why they actually included that. I guess you can use emojis for code or something like that in your own predefined criteria, whatever you want to call it. Then what you do is you click on, upload your leads from a CSV file. And what you can do is, I'm just going to quickly go and show you what my CSV files look like. So we've got company name, full name, website, email address, and personalized first line. This is how you want to set out all of your leads when they're actually completely, written, if you will, and actually spell checked and that sort of stuff. And you also want to make sure that your emails are verified. This is why they're in green. By the way, these are completely made up. These are completely made up. But let me show you what an actual real personalized first line actually looks like. This is what a personalized first line looks like. So it would say, hi Henry, loved watching the interview you had with Montel on his YouTube channel, where you talked about how you and your childhood sweetheart Amanda started your clothing line from the back of your dusty old Toyota Corolla. Obviously, I'm just having some fun there. This is obviously a made up script. Super inspiring to see how far you've come. Congrats on being sold in Selfridges. So as you can see, these personalized lines are extremely personalized, and they're very unique to the business owner. Obviously, I've just put the same one in each one, but what you need to do to find personalized first lines is you go on Google and you actually have to type in the business owner's name or the actual business itself and figure out where you can find articles about them, listen to podcast episodes with them, interviews with them, YouTube videos, that sort of stuff. LinkedIn, you can use their LinkedIn, but it needs to be extremely personalized to the point where it's like you've obviously done research into them. And the way how you know your personalized first lines are good is and this is kind of like the litmus test, if you will, your personalized first lines need to be so good and so personalized and so unique that they could not be sent to somebody else and they still make sense. So for example, this Henry person let's pretend he has a wife called Sarah, who he says that was his childhood sweetheart from the beginning. So if we was to send that to somebody like Alicia, for example, she'd be like, what are you talking about? I am not married to somebody called Amanda. In fact, I'm married to somebody called John. Or for example, she doesn't have an old dusty Toyota Corolla. Basically what I'm trying to say here is that this is very unique to this person's life. You can't take this line and make the same line for this person, even though I have for this tutorial purposes, but obviously you guys understand that. But yeah, like I said, you can't take this line and make it personalized to this, and take the same line and send it to this person. It makes sense because they've got 2 different lives, 2 different situations. You know what I'm talking about. So this is how you go about, laying out your actual first lines, that sort of stuff. I get my first line writer to do this because this takes a long time, and this is exactly what I'm trying to talk to you guys about and why I'm screaming about the hybrid system. Again, the hybrid system, guys, is where you stack up smaller ticket clients on Upwork, which are just literally like social media management clients or Facebook ad clients or like LinkedIn management clients or like Google ad clients. You get those clients, right? That's normally slightly lower ticket, but you can get them on a higher frequency and scale up to like 2 to 3K pretty quickly. I had a student not too long ago do this. She actually closed 3 clients in 7 days and scaled her business from, I believe she was at like 0, but I'm not too sure. I don't think she had 0 clients. And then she actually scaled that to 2.8K, added on a 2.8K to a bottom line, which was 0. So you're making 2.8K now. So now what she can do is actually go and hire somebody for like $200, $300, $400 per month to actually write her 25 to 35 emails a day, doing this sort of stuff, actually going in and finding articles and writing about what they've actually talked about. Because again, this is what you need to do, and a lot of people don't do this because they're so bent on just trying to automate everything. But you know, cold emails is a personalized game. You need to send lots of them, and they need to be very personalized. Anywho, let me quickly show you how to go about formatting the names real quick, because obviously I don't want the full name in there like that. So the reason why I leave it like this is because when my first line writer actually looks and finds the name of the business owner and stuff like that, it's easier for them to copy their full name and just put it into one column. So I'm just going to show you how you split the columns real quick. Data, split text to columns. I'm going to go to space like so, and as you can see, it splits the name. Now what we're going to do is type in first name like so, and then this one's obviously the last name like so. So what we've got is company name, first name, last name, website, email address, personalized first lines. We technically don't need the websites right now because we're not actually going to use those in the actual script itself. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press file, and I'm going to download this as a CSV file. There you go, download it to my computer. Now what we can do is just drag this file from my download section. I'm going to quickly drag it, upload it into here. And then as you can see, what we're doing is we're matching the company name with the company name, first name with the first name, last name, last name. Website is a custom variable, but I'm actually going to remove this. I'm not going to import the website. We don't need it. And then personalized first line is a custom variable. And then obviously email matched with email. So those are all correct. This is what you call merge tags, if you will. These are merge tags. And press next. Then what it's going to basically ask is if we want some lead enrichment. I'm going to press no thank you because we've already done that ourselves. I'm actually going to then, this is good if you have multiple campaigns. It's going to allow you to remove any duplicates across any sort of like campaigns that you have in your teams. So like, let's say you have a team and they've set up campaigns. So what I'm actually going to do is press no, I don't want duplicates in here. And I probably think that you would probably do the same because you don't want to send emails out to, you know, the same emails out to the same people in different campaigns saying different things. It would be very confusing. Now this basically right here is if you've got the paid plan, you can actually, you know, for example, if you've got a CRM system such as like Pipedrive, you can actually synchronize your CRM system. I do recommend doing this if you have like a very organized lead flow. So this is something I actually teach in agency transportation, how to set up your Pipedrive and how to kind of like sync it across your CRM and stuff like that, so that you know automatically can see where the leads are in your pipeline and stuff like that, and in your flow, if you will. But right now I'm going to press no thanks. Timing is key. It's basically one of the last steps. Do you want to create an existing schedule or create a new one? I'm going to pick create a new one because what I like to do is I like to send from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't actually like to send on Saturdays because people are normally busy on Saturdays, and Sundays. Sometimes I actually like to send on Sundays. I just press validate that. Now what I like to do is I like to pick not my time zone, excuse me. I like to go and pick EST time zone. And then what I like to do, me personally, is I like to send emails in the morning. I've actually found that morning is the best time for me. So I'm going to click on morning. I probably could have edited that and probably broke that down to like, you know, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's normally, or even 7:30 a.m. to like 11:30 a.m. is kind of like when I like to send my emails out. Then email address, you want to send your sender's email address. This is the actual domain you're going to be sending emails from, the actual burner domain. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to click on create your sequence. Now here's how we go about creating a sequence. A sequence basically, guys, is just steps or kind of like emails and follow-ups, that sort of stuff. And I've kind of got like a demonstration here. So as you can see, we've got the subject line here. I'm just going to copy this. Then we've got the initial email going out here. I don't need to copy the actual signature, so we've already got that kind of like set up. Then we've got the actual follow-up email here. I'm just gonna, and by the way guys, just as a demonstration, I'm just using a very, very bland script here. I do recommend sticking to a kind of a structure like this, but obviously make it much better than this. I'm not going to give you a whole script and whatnot. You get script scribbling and agency transportation and whatnot, but I'm not going to give a script out here. just because I feel like you guys, whenever a script gets put out into the SMMA community, everybody just rinses off that one script and then it just dies out like very quickly. Not to say that it's oversaturated or anything like that, but it's like nobody listens to people when they say create your own script. And I think people think that the quote unquote people that are gurus, if you will, that are teaching the class or the lesson or whatever it is, or who's hosting the course is saying that because they don't want competition. It's not that. It's just because that you need to understand the people's pain problems in the actual niche. And again, this is something I teach thoroughly in ADC transmutation. Then the follow-up is basically the first follow-up. What I recommend you do is have an initial email and then at least 3 to 4 follow-ups. That basically means you're going to be sending out anywhere between 4 to 5 emails. I recommend 5 emails, to be honest with you, to one person. And these emails are going to be, you know, your initial email, and then you're gonna have 3 emails that are follow-ups. Those are what you call your follow-up emails, and altogether you have 4 emails right there. Or you can have 4 follow-ups. That would obviously mean you've got 4 follow-up emails and an initial email. That means you've got 5 emails being sent to one person. Now, the reason why you want to do this, guys, is because, as they say, the money is in the follow-up. So make sure you've obviously got more follow-ups than me. I'm just using these as an example. And when you follow up, the more follow-ups you do, the more time you want to wait in between each follow-up. So if I send this to a person and they don't reply to me, I'm waiting at least 2 to 3 days before I send this follow-up. Then my actual follow-up after that, if they don't reply to this particular email, I'm waiting another 3 days after this to send my next follow-up. Normally it's like 3 to 4 days. Then obviously the follow-up after the third follow-up, or the second follow-up would obviously be a little longer than that. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly start a blank email. Subject line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this right here, paste this in here like so. Quickly just paste this in here. There we go. Now the way how you go and get placeholders, by the way, just let me quickly show you guys, is hey, you know, and then what you do is, excuse me, you don't click on one, you click on this one, you click on first name. There we go. There you go. That's what your placeholders should look like. There you go. So hey, first name. Obviously this is a really weak subject line. Go and create your own subject lines. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and copy this script right here. Not up until there. I'm just gonna go like this. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paste this in here like so. There you go. I'm just gonna make sure that this is formatted by making sure that they're on each line, that sort of stuff. And then what we're gonna do is put in your signature right here, and then we're just gonna make sure that these placeholders, if you will, are actually the correct placeholders. So what we're gonna do is go and click on custom variable. I'm gonna put in first name here, like so. I'm just gonna make sure that there's no space in between next. That would look weird. And then personalized first line, I'm gonna delete this real quick. Make sure it's on its own line. Go to custom variables, click on personalized first line like so. Make sure that there's no space there. And obviously you insert your own script here. This is obviously just a placeholder within a placeholder, if you will. It's just like, that's my own placeholder. Obviously you would put your script in here. I'll walk you through this in a second. And then this right here, you would obviously just make sure you put the company name in, for example. And again, this is completely up to you on how you create your scripts and whatnot, but I'm just gonna put company name like so. Make sure that there's no space in between there, and then signature. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a new step. I'm gonna wait 3 days. I'm gonna put blank here. I'm gonna leave the subject line empty. The reason being is because we actually want to reply to our initial email. So that basically means this is gonna be in one thread. Like if you send an email to somebody and you go back to that email, you go to your sent messages section or send email section, and then you reply to them. That's basically what this is going to do. And you actually want to do this. You don't want to create a new subject line every time you follow up. You want to use the same one subject line over and over and over again in your sequence. Obviously you want to test different subject lines, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about your sequences need to use the same, one subject line and then follow up with your previous message. So it'd be like a bump message, if you will. That's what it's basically called. You're bumping up your messages. I'm just gonna quickly go and copy this script right here. Hey, first name. Just gonna make sure that this is all formatted. There we go. Top of the email. And this literally, guys, by the way, is what you call a bump email. And this is very short, but it still is very effective. I'm just gonna quickly put in custom variable. Hey, first name. Just bumping my previous email. And I'm telling you, this is literally very similar to what I actually have in my genuine campaigns, and it's very effective, very, very effective. I know that you guys are trying to write these elaborate scripts, and in fact, let me actually show you what you guys are doing. So these are the scripts that I basically use. They're very similar in structure. Obviously, it's very different in terms of like I'm actually writing the actual script in here and whatnot, and I've got a different call to action and stuff like that, and my actual signature is obviously correct. But let me show you what you guys are actually doing, which is a huge mistake. I just want to break this down. So quick tip, your email should not look like this, guys. So you just got your original hi first name, that's completely fine to have. Then stuff like this, saying I came across Nike. I'm just gonna by the way, these are placeholders. These get replaced in Lemlist with the actual information you have in your boxes, basically. So company name will obviously be switched out. Company name, for example, will be switched out with the actual company names going down the list. So if you've got a business in here called Massey's, for example, this is what this script would look like. It would say, hey, you know, whoever the owner of Massey is. So, hey, John, for example, I came across Massey's on, and then source would be like where you found it, if you go collect that information. So if you put in like another column in here, for example, called source, and you just put in that you found this on Google, you found this one on Instagram, you found this one on LinkedIn, you found this one on Google, you get the point. So what this would do is it would say, hey, Mark, let me show you. It would say, hey, Mark, I came across Massey's on LinkedIn and saw that you was the CEO. Obviously, position would obviously just be another column that you'd put in and obviously be the position, and saw that you was the CEO. On that note, I just want to quickly reach out to you. This is already a waste of space here. This, by the way, is not personalization. I repeat, using lines like this, I know you think it's personalization because you're saying their company name and where you found them and their position, but this is the biggest mistake I've seen in cold emails to this day. Everybody thinks you're going to scrape a whole bunch of leads, grab something like Lemlist and write a script like this where it says, I came across your company name on Google and saw that you was the CEO of the business. On that note, I want to quickly reach out to you because I'm the CEO of XYZ Media and we do Facebook ads, blah, 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 and you explain your services. This right here is the biggest mistake I keep seeing, and this is why people are failing with their emails. Then they're using stuff like this. Here's what we can help you with. And they're listing like bullet points. Like, guys, you need to keep your emails, first of all, personalized, and they need to be not overly formal and using bullet points. You need to write your emails as if you're writing your emails to an actual friend, if you will. Doing stuff like this where you're using bullet points and stuff like that and listing your services is not a good idea whatsoever. Then saying stuff like, having looked into your business, it's apparent to me that you're leaving money on the table. This right here, leaving money on the table, is very, very played out. And then explaining your services like with a very long explanation and using like words that we would only know. So like your cost per acquisition, this and that, your CPA, blah, 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 blah. Most of the time that a business, we don't want to talk that sort of language right now to a business owner and kind of like explain all this crazy stuff about Facebook ads and this service and what you do different and all that sort of stuff. So again, saying stuff like, having looked into your business and it's apparent to me that you're leaving money on the table. That could come across as offensive and it's overplayed. This is money that can be reclaimed by doing, and then you just give you and then here you insert some sort of long explanation of your services. Incorrect. Are you around for a quick week to discuss? This is not actually a bad call to action. We can make that better, of course. And then saying stuff like, here's the link to my calendar in your first initial email is a huge mistake. It decreases your open rate. Plus, anytime I see an email, right, no matter how personalized it is to me, with a link in it, I immediately ignore that. So business owners are going to do the exact same thing. It just shows it's a sales email and not like a personalized, personal email. And you want your emails to come across as personal emails. I look forward to meeting you. Just stuff like this is just not necessary, saying stuff like that. And then guys, one of the big things I keep seeing you guys do is killing yourselves in terms of just putting like really fancy logos in your signature with like all your social media links. So if you've got like an image in your signature, delete it. If you've got like your social media links to like your Instagram and your agency's Instagram page, delete them. Or if you've got like a case study funnel type of thing, delete it. You don't want to put links in your signature. What you want to do instead is have a signature that looks like this. Now the reason why you want this is obviously you got your agency name, your address to make you look real as well. Well, obviously put your address in there to make it obviously real, and your actual number as well. Now the reason why you want to do this, guys, is because to Google, spammers don't do this sort of stuff. So when you do this, it shows Google that you're not a spammer. Also, your email as well, what you do is you put it on the last line like this. Now, the reason for that is because when you put your burner domain or your burner email domain here, what people do is when they actually open up your email and read your email and it sparks their interest, which it should, because it's very straight to the point like this, they're going to be like, okay, so who is this Montel dude? Oh, his domain's here. What they do is they copy this, and then if you're smart, what you will do is you will forward that, or should I say when they actually type this into Google, it should redirect them to your agency case study funnel if you have one already, or your agency website if you have one already, and you should have one. Not a website, a funnel. difference between a website and a funnel. Anywho, so that's how you go about setting up your actual campaign. So you got step 1 here, hi first name, obviously weak subject line. I'm just using that as demonstration purposes. This is all demonstration purposes, guys. So this is going to then eventually, you know, the name's going to be changed out going down the list. The personalization is going to, personalized first line is going to be changed out going down the list. Then obviously you put your own script in here, or you put your own case studies in here. Then you ask them, you know, for a quick call. I always use a call as a call to action, as in I don't say, do you want to see this Loom video? I don't use anything other than asking them for a call, basically, is what I'm trying to say. My call to actions are always trying to get them on a call straight away, like immediately. Then your signature, you put your signature in there. Step 2, you wait, obviously you make sure you wait a couple of days before you send out your step 2. So if people don't, if they read this, they open it and don't reply, Lemlist tracks that. And then what it does is after 3 days, if they haven't replied to this particular email, what it will do is, you know, 3 days after, or however many days you want to set it for, I recommend, you know, 3 days on your first one, it will send them this bump email. And that's basically what you want to do. Now we've got that done. I'm just going to make sure we actually save this, by the way. You can press save. Make sure you save this sort of stuff, because obviously you don't want to lose your work. Then schedules, what you want to do is you can just name your schedule if you want to. I'm going to change this to, think about when business owners wake up, guys. Business owners are normally early risers, and they normally check their email first thing in the morning. So that's why I kind of, you know, save this. Then it shows you how many emails you want to reach every day. Obviously, we already have the global limit set up, so we don't need to worry too much about this right now. So you can just max this out if you will, because it's not going to go over the actual global limit anyway, because that's like your global limit. Then you can obviously send on whatever days you want to. I recommend these days right here. People do check their emails on Sundays because it's normally a boring day. And some actual business owners, by the way, actually start their working days on Sundays as well. I know that Fridays and Saturdays aren't really the best times to send emails, so you can remove Fridays if you want to, but I just like to keep them on. So settings, obviously this is your name. Just make sure that you've got your email address used to send emails. Make sure it's correct. It's correct here. And then what you do is make sure you just leave this as default. So it says stop sending messages when your lead replies to a message. So you don't want your follow-ups going out to people that have, you know, actually replied to your email. So I leave this as blank. All of these I do not change. So there's no point not tracking email opens. There's no point not tracking all of this stuff. So I leave this as is. If you've got, you know, your CRM set up, then this is where you would integrate and whatnot. And then form, you don't need to worry about it, redirect forms and all this sort of stuff. I don't actually play with any of this. Then what you do, guys, is you actually go to review. And what you do is you review all of your messages. I highly recommend this. And this is something you're going to skip. I can already tell you're going to skip this. Everybody's lazy. Everybody tries to do everything the fastest way possible, and nobody likes to double check their work. So what you need to do is double check every single lead that you actually go down and send. So as you can see, the company name changing around and that sort of stuff. As you can see, we've actually got, oh no, I was actually going to say that we've got a mistake here, because like Mark and Mark, it's actually just because they're both called, they're actually, all 3 of them are called Mark. I probably should have used a different name. But as you can see, Henry gets changed, you know, to the actual email is obviously Henry's email sends to him. The subject line is hi Henry, whereas this one's to Alicia. The subject line goes hi Alicia, and then the very first line, if you will, not the personalized first line, obviously changes. It changes to obviously Alicia. Basically, it states Alicia's name, as you can see as we go down the list. So that's basically how you write your cold emails and how you actually use Lemlist to actually use merge tags. So what this does is, if you've got different personalized first lines, which I probably should have put in here, the personalized first lines will change as well. It's just because I have them all on this sheet being the exact same. So if these were different, which they should be different, then as you can see, it will actually, you know, go down the list and actually change them like it's doing with the names. So anything you put in these columns, such as like source, it will change. Or if you've got position in here, if you haven't listened to me and not done this position thing where you see the CEO, you got the founder here. Don't use scripts like this, guys. Let me show you. Don't use scripts like this. Don't do this stuff. This is not a personalized first line. These are personalized first lines. And yes, they do take time, but you need and you must do them. But guys, this is how you go about sending out your cold emails and actually, you know, checking them. So what you want to do when you check them is just make sure that they're obviously addressed to the right person. They're saying the right personalized first line. You obviously got the right script in there, and you just want to make sure that you got the right company name in there and the right subject line. You want to make sure you check all sequences as well. So you can see day 1, immediately after this lead is reviewed, they will get this email sent, and then this will send out 3 days after this email, this initial email, if they haven't replied. And as you can see, there's no subject line here because it's a reply to this subject line. It's the same thread. Then all you do is, once you've reviewed that and it's all good to go, you click on review, then you go down to the next, it automatically gives you the next one, and then you go down and actually read it through again and just make sure there's no spelling mistakes. You must do this. You must absolutely triple check this, and you must read these out loud as well. to make sure that they make sense. If they don't make sense, you can actually edit them. I believe it's actually in, you can actually edit the info in here and stuff like that. You can press edit and you can actually change the personalized first line and whatnot within here. So guys, as I was saying, that normally what you can do is, oh, there we go. We don't even need to change the settings anymore. So what you can actually do is just double click in here, and what you can actually do is individually edit certain things if something's a miss, or if you just want to add in a bit more personalization to something. So again, you just double click in here, you can change it and press save. So you don't even need to go into the settings thing like I was kind of just trying to do then. But yeah, you don't even need to do that. Normally before, when it was, you know, Lemlist was new, you'd have to go into your settings to allow you to go in here and like individually change things out for each different person. So you can actually do that as well, which is really, really cool. Again, this is Lemlist and this is how I go about doing it. So once you've actually reviewed them, you can press review all. I don't recommend pressing review all because you want to make sure that you check each and every one of the emails. So now what's going to happen is in this particular campaign, you can click on this little icon here and it will show you all of your stats. Now my actual stats from my Lemlist account is I get around a 75% open rate. I'm getting around a 12% reply rate, and I'm jumping on calls with a whole bunch of people again, and I teach you how to do this in agency transmutation. But guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been a long video, but I'm hoping that you guys have enjoyed this and you guys can see how I go about writing my personalized first lines. And then guys, you can go into the overviews and you can actually take a look at all your analytics. But guys, I'm going to leave you with just those most important bits. You guys can obviously go and figure out this tool as well. It's not really hard to figure out. You'll get the hang of it. But that's how I basically go about setting up campaigns. It has been a very valuable video, so definitely watch this one back, and I'll see you guys back on camera real quick. So guys, now that we're back on camera, I hope that you guys again have enjoyed that tutorial. Again, make sure you avoid the mistakes of just trying to scrape leads and doing that really weak personalization. Yes, you need to do personalization, and that's why I recommend hiring that job out, because it's very, very tedious and you're not going to be able to get much outreach done. Well, you're not going to get adequate amounts of outreach done if you don't, you know, hire this out, or at least duplicate yourself by hiring somebody else, and you do 10 emails, they do another 10 emails as well. And that's how I go about doing this. And this is basically what I'm talking about in agency transmutation. You need to personalize this sort of stuff. And like I said, like I literally just said, it takes so long to do this. Very tedious in terms of writing the personalized first lines, which is why I recommend the hybrid system. And I keep screaming about the hybrid system. Again, the hybrid system is you build up smaller ticket clients for cash flow purposes. Just for cash flow. Then you invest that cash flow into, or you invest that profit, if you will, into hiring virtual assistants that are going to write the first lines for you and find you leads anyway. And this becomes an automatic game, all automated. From the first lines they actually get wrote for you by your personalized first line writer, and then you just double check their work and you press send on Lemlist and you get clients on autopilot. I am not even joking. This is exactly what I teach in agency transmutation, which is my 6-week online SMA program, if you will. And it teaches you all of this and more. It teaches you Facebook ads, how to do social media management, how to use Upwork, how to use cold emails, teaches you sales, teaches you everything. There's so many plug and play sheets, and it's literally around 15 to 20 hours long-ish of actual just my top of the top training in there. And it also comes with a Facebook group with live Q&A calls. So if you're interested in that, again, click the link below. All you have to do is watch a completely free video. I don't need your email, just literally watch the video, and it just basically explains what you're gonna get in agency transmutation and why it's industry leading. That's it guys, I'll see you in the next video pretty soon. Hope you actually like this. If you have, please drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video pretty soon. Peace.